Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Definition, and the ending of You Season 2 really has the internet in a frenzy right now. The final few scenes of the show introduce a brand new character, and throughout this video we'll be breaking down the best fan theories about who this could be and all of the evidence to support it. There will be heavy spoilers here, so if you haven't had a chance to watch the finale yet and don't want to know what happens, then I highly recommend that you turn off now. With that out of the way, I just want to give a huge thank you for clicking this video. Now let's get into our breakdown of who Joe's new neighbour is.
I think we have some unfinished business to talk about.
But it's a new me.
Okay, so You Season 2 saw Joe move to LA and change his name to Will. Joe became besotted with a local chef named Love, who he began stalking, manipulating, and similar to Beck in Season 1, the two slowly formed an attachment. Love was head over heels with the character, and we later learned that she had a dark side to her too when she committed several murders in order to protect him. This not only included Joe's neighbour Delilah, but also his ex-girlfriend Candice, who had followed the character to LA in order to expose him and ruin his life. Joe wanted to get away from her, but once she dropped the bombshell that she was pregnant, he quickly abandoned all plans of escape and decided to settle down with the character. Love's brother 40 uncovered the truth, and just as he was about to murder Joe, he was shot by a police officer, allowing Joe and Love to move away to the LA suburbs and raise their child together. Joe finally had it all. A woman that he loved, a successful Netflix TV show, a future family, and he'd managed to get away with everything, meaning that he could now live a comfortable life. However, as with most stalkers, psychopaths, and serial killers, they're driven purely by compulsion, and we ended the season with Joe looking through a crack in his fence and coming across a new fixation. It was one of the biggest twists in the entire season, and it reminded us that no matter what happens, Joe will always be this manipulative, self-centered stalker that enjoys controlling women. We heard the character going through the usual narration in his head, you know the one that kickstarts a season, and we knew that he was once more in a prison of his own making. Joe said, "This is just the beginning. Because this is where I had to be." I'll stop doing the voice. "Because this is where I had to be, exactly where I had to be to meet you. There you were with your books and your sunshine, so close but worlds away. I will figure out a way to get to you. See you soon, neighbour." Eagle-eyed viewers also spotted that throughout the season there were actually several clues that Joe would end up fixated on another person, with YouTube user EthioKitty saying on my last video, the main character name is Joe and he's pretending to be Will. His lover interest is Love and the title of the show is You. So piece it all together, Joe will love you. This makes me think that perhaps the entire show has sort of been like a How I Met Your Mother situation, where we are merely watching the events play out until he meets you. Not you, like the character in the show that the entire season's named after, you, as in her. Anyway, I promise it's not you. You don't have to delete Instagram just yet. We can't see the woman's face, but she can be seen reading a stack of books, and like Joe, everyone has been obsessing over who this could be. Now, one of the big fan theories that is floating about at the moment is that this is Beck. The ending of Season 1 left her death completely ambiguous, and though Joe was haunted by visions of the character throughout Season 2, we do know that he's an unreliable narrator, and therefore he's very difficult to trust. Joe plays things differently in his head to how they actually are, and he often recontextualizes scenarios in order to make it appear like he's the good guy. Joe made a killing of Beck's book literally, and she will also likely want to track down the character if he's still out there. She was an avid book fan and would definitely have motive to go after him, but how was she even able to track him down? Well, you may have noticed in Season 2 that Joe's laptop was in fact Beck's old one, and if the character has an app installed in order to track its location, then this could lead her directly to Joe. Where this theory falls apart though is that Penn Badgley has flat out said that Beck is dead, and though I would like to see a return, this seems highly unlikely. The next theory is actually one that I haven't seen many people talking about, and that is that the character is Dr. Nicky's wife. Dr. Nicky made a big appearance in the finale of Season 2 and stated that he didn't want to reopen any old wounds when it comes to Joe, so 40 was unable to gather any evidence against him. The character did mention that due to his cheating, he ruined his marriage, and it is possible that Nicky's wife, angered that Joe destroyed their relationship, has decided to track the character down, make him infatuated with her, and then frame him for a murder so that he becomes locked up after escaping the long arm of the law twice. She could also be involved with Peach's parents, who are still investigating the death of their daughter, and as that jar of pee from when Joe broke into her house was never resolved, they could be secretly building their own case against him. Again, this theory, it doesn't have all that much weight to it, but it's possible, especially because the fact that many characters from season 1 are aware that something was up with the character and they want to track him down. Finally though, there's a big fan theory that is taking the internet by storm, and that is that the neighbour is Joe's mother. Throughout season 2, we learn the ins and outs of Joe's childhood, as well as what caused him to develop a severe personality disorder. I'm sorry Joe, I shouldn't have said that. You're a great guy and anyone would be lucky to have you. Anyway, at the centre of it all was Joe's relationship with his mother. The woman who pretty much started him down the life of stalking and manipulation that led him to where we saw him at the end of season 2. Could it be that Joe is actually now obsessing over his mother? Well, potentially. The real Will and Joe do have a discussion early on in the season that men are just trying to marry their own mothers, and initially when I heard this conversation I was a bit taken aback, but looking at its inclusion in the context of the finale, it does make a lot of sense. In several flashbacks we saw Joe end up killing one of his mother's boyfriends after he repeatedly beat her. Joe grew up in the foster system, and it is possible that the entire journey that the character has been on has been a date with destiny with his own mother. Yikes. His mother constantly promised to save Joe from the violent situations that he was subjected to, but he ended up having to take control of the situation himself. Could he have stalked her, finally catching up with her and moving in next door in order to show her that he could actually make a family? Well, yeah, I think he could have actually. He is a bit crazy. We don't know the real motives behind this, but if it turns out to be true, it could be a massively interesting premise for season 3. We can tell from the woman's hands that this is an older lady, and she does look roughly about the age that Joe's mother would now be. During this season, there's a conversation between Love and Joe in which they talk about whether his mother is alive or dead, and the latter doesn't really confirm it, leaving it ambiguous. If she was dead though, I do think that Joe would use this as a way to get sympathy from Love, so we can lean more towards the fact that she's alive, and he just hasn't mentioned her because it would cause complications. There's definitely potential here, and it would be a massive twist if this turned out to be true. The final theory is that the character is someone that we've never actually seen before, and they've been introduced to the finale to show the struggle that Joe goes through internally, and that he'll never actually have a happy life because the grass will always be greener. This could definitely be the case, and if there isn't a third season, then at least we would end up with somewhat a sense of closure, knowing that Joe will forever be destined to ruin his relationships. There hasn't been a third book written yet, but it is in production, so it is very likely that we will see what happens with the neighbor. Either way though, I doubt that Love will be very happy with Joe now having someone else that he's in love with, and we all know that she's capable of murder. With her now having a baby and the family she's always been desperate for so long, it is likely that she'll do whatever she can to keep a hold of it, so I doubt she'll be playing by the rules. It's all fair in love and war, and who knows, if the most popular theory turns out to be true, then the next season could end up being a battle between Joe's wife and his mother over who the character wants to spend the rest of his life with. There's a lot of potential here, and I can't wait to see what happens next time. Now obviously I'd love to hear your thoughts on these theories and which one you're siding with. Comment below and let me know, and if you enjoyed this video then please give it a thumbs up, and make sure you check out our full breakdown of the season, which will be linked at the end. We discuss everything that you need to know about the show and give our thoughts on it as a whole, so it's definitely worth checking out if you want to know more. If you want to come chat to me after the video, then make sure you follow me on Twitter at DefinitionYT, or head over to my Discord server, which will be linked in the description below. We drop videos on there early, so if you want to see stuff before anyone else, then that's the best place to be. It's free to join and we have an awesome community, so hopefully I see you over there very soon. We're also giving away a free copy of Joker, which is one of our favourite movies of the year, and all you have to do to be in with a chance of winning is like the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel and leave your thoughts on you in the comments section below. The winner is going to be chosen at random on the 15th of January, and the set will be shipped out from then to whoever gets the prize, so best of luck to everyone who takes part. This is a channel for people who are never missing television, so if that's the kind of thing you like, you need to subscribe to Definition. Thanks again for taking the time to watch this, you've been the best, and I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.